get to it. Turn over the mic to our first finalist, Taylor Chavez-Goggin, the founder of Shroomi. Sir, good to see you again.
All right.
Microphone and time.
Good morning. I'm honored to be here and humbled with all these amazing, great brands that we saw yesterday, and I'm very grateful to the BevNET judges for giving me the opportunity to get to the finals. As you know, some of you may know from yesterday, you know that my father tried to commit suicide on Father's Day 2 years ago, and it's been the inspiration for this brand ever since. I've been touched by many of you that came after me after the show yesterday and expressed your support, so I thank you for that. Diving into mental health. So before my father's episode, like many Americans, I struggled to talk about lots of topics of mental health, suicide, depression, anxiety. I didn't know that suicide was the 10th leading cause of death in the US, taking 38,000 lives a year. That's 38 times this room when full. I didn't know that major depression was one of the most common mental illnesses affecting 16 million people every day. The conversation is growing. There's great companies like Starbucks that are starting to offer mental health services to all their employees, and so Shroomi just wants to be a part of the charge here. While the subject is currently dark and uncomfortable, I wanted Shroomi to be the light on the subject, and so it wants to be uplifting, approachable, comfortable. The branding, if you go to the logo, it's light, it's bubbly, it's kind of like squishy, like a mushroom. I want it, this brand to be approachable to the masses, and that's something that's missing in the market. Shout out to my dad for being the face of mental health. Mushrooms, they're on trend. So about 2 years ago, on my trip to Japan, I started realizing that mushrooms were kind of a big deal over there. They were relatively new to the US, but they have a rich tradition in Eastern medicine, and so we see it as an emerging category here to stay in the States, and so we want to be a big part of that. Analysts estimate that the compound analyzed growth rate is going to be 7.7% over the next 7 years, growing from 1.8 billion to 3.5 billion in sales over the next 7 years. And so mushrooms have been in the news a lot lately, from non-psychedelic to psychedelic. A lot to do with brain health. FDA just fast-tracked psilocybin for therapy in depression. It's even used in packaging. IKEA is using it for their packaging, and we plan to do something similar. Let's talk innovation here. What is an adaptogen? Here's our adaptogen shots. They're roots, herbs, and mushrooms that are stress reducers, whether chemical or physical. We're East meets West, so we want to change the culture of health in America. We want to promote preventative healthcare and get consumers away from this overnight success that we find in a lot of other ways. The Shroomi shots are the first step in that. It's a category creator, certified organic, cold-pressed juices. We have yuzu juice in there, mandarin juice in there, apple cider vinegar, really great. Pomegranate juice, all certified organic. It's great. Quality dosage. We have 500 milligrams of mushrooms in every single shot. So that most studies show that you need at least 300 on a preventative basis to do the job. All right. Moving forward, there is a cross-category opportunity here. We do not want to be just a shot company. We are a mushroom company. We want to be, have Shroomi rice. We want to have Shroomi yogurt. We want to have Shroomi pudding. We want to have mushrooms and everything. And so, moving forward, that's where we want to be. We want to be in every aisle of the store. Finally, distribution and partnership. So how are we going to get there? All right, we understand that the education is going to be a big factor, right? Mushrooms are sort of new, kind of a little mysterious. We need to, from the store level to the buyers to the distributors, we need to educate. And so we want to champion that. We want to be that brand. We can't do it alone. We want to partner with nonprofits, influential people, and key retailers. Finally, as I finish up, I want to pose a question and a friendly challenge to you. How many in the audience, if I could see a raise of hands, who has been touched by mental health in their life? It's a lot of you. So Shroomi is for you. We're a community, we're a resource. We want to champion mental health with the use of mushrooms. Finally, I want to do a call to action to all the people out there wanting to start a brand, a part of a brand. I love what Peter McGinnis at Chobani said about paying off school lunch debt. It's not political, it's human. If you're starting a brand, what are you doing that's human? Because in the end, we're all just together. We're all just going to end up together with the mushrooms. Thank you.
Good job. Mark, let's start with you. Taylor talked a lot about aligning mission with function. Do you think that Shroomi has enough, or what you saw in the presentation was enough to convince you that this could be a potentially large opportunity in the market?
It's interesting. I'm certainly a believer in shrooms, and I think there's a lot of emerging research and a lot of emerging brands, and it's a category clearly under development. So I like that. The angle around mental health is interesting, right? I certainly understand that, and your passion for that comes through, and there's no question there is some truth around that. I haven't really thought through associating this brand with that, and I frankly wonder about that. And I do think there's an interesting angle to that, but I just would encourage you to make sure you're focused on the positive benefits, right? And I know you are in a way, but I think there's a risk of associating it in a negative way that could be detrimental to both the business and the cause.
Julie, do you think there's a larger opportunity out there for a growing opportunity for mushroom-based beverages like Shroomi?
Absolutely. Mushrooms seem to be trending right now. There's a lot of entries in mushroom, as well as mental health is starting to take a brain health, another trend that we're seeing happen out in the market. So I think the timing is incredible for this product.
Mm-hmm. John, in terms of the taste and the flavor profile, what do you think of Shroomi?
I mean, I think 2 out of the 3 are like stellar. I love the spice. I don't remember what the third one was that wasn't spicy, but maybe I just tried that sort of out of order, not knowing that that one wouldn't be there. But no, I mean, I think it's for a brand that's called Shroomi, I'm definitely going in thinking, all right, like mushroom juice here, and it's really top-notch taste. So job well done.
Thank
there.
you.
Kalam, Taylor talked about a sort of platform opportunity for Shroomi. Do you see that as well?
I think that there's an opportunity to educate consumers and get them kind of more involved in understanding what mushrooms can do before you want to go so broad. Like, really, let's go deep and build up your consumer base and get people kind of in a routine with understanding when and how to incorporate it in life. But just to add on what John said, I thought these taste really, really good. I was a little bit intimidated as a consumer, and they're phenomenal. So
Thank you.
I would play up your taste cues a little bit more in your packaging to invite people into this kind of new category.
Thanks for the feedback.
Ken, a lot of education necessary for mushrooms at this point. But do you think there's a broad opportunity? Do you think there's a larger opportunity for this kind of product, and more specifically for Shroomi?
I think this is definitely a tip of the spear kind of shot. From a practical standpoint, does it need to be refrigerated?
It does.
Okay, so I would have that called out on the label because people stocking that on shelves may or may not know. You also have a bottle deposit in Massachusetts on the label. This is not a deposit item in the state of Massachusetts, just as one example.
Okay.
So there are some practical things that need to be cleaned up, but generally, I think the comments here were really spot on. And the last thing I would say is, it is incumbent upon you to call out the Shroomi because that's your point of difference. But the flavors are tart, as these other judges alluded to, and I think that needs to be conveyed somewhere on the color of your labels.
Thanks for the feedback.
We just touched on the branding a little bit, and Kalam, I'd love to get your feedback on the label itself. I mean, in terms of label hierarchy, what do you think of Shroomi?
I like that it's simple. It's, really clear ingredients. You pay off the mushroom aspect of it. Again, as I said before, I think taste is, in a shot, consumers are expecting things to taste a little bit strong, but still I think you can play up the taste cues a little bit, make it a little more inviting to consumers.
All right.
How much is the
$3.99 to $4.49.
price? Okay.
Right on.
So competitive.
Great feedback. Well done,
job.
Taylor.
Thank you, everyone.
Much.
Hey, it's Ray Latif with Taste Radio. If you like what you just saw, hit subscribe and ding the bell. You'll be happy you did.